Hi, my name is Alicia and welcome to Mess to Masterpiece. Today's topic is anxiety. And I don't know about you, but it's so weird to me that in the world that so many people struggle with anxiety. Although it seems like it's like the elephant in the room. Nobody wants to talk about it. It's the always avoided when it comes to social circumstances or even on social media. So today I want to bring some light to it. Did you know that 40 million people in the United States have anxiety? Especially during this time period. I don't know about you, but with the elections and COVID, this has definitely been a season of anxiety and fear, unfortunately. And I know for me, that's not necessarily a new thing either. Anxiety started when I was, as far back as I can remember, I had anxiety, whether it was for going to sleep at night or once I got a little bit older, and I don't know if you remember, we call it CATS testing in Kentucky. It was like first or second grade, and I was having standardized testing, and I would just have complete meltdowns about going to school or even at school trying to do those testing. And it's crazy that we were taking those kind of tests so young, but that definitely just built the platform for me of anxiety. And so I've had it as long as I can remember. I've gone through periods in my life where it's been better, but then it's also gotten worse. It kind of goes back and forth, it seems like. And especially here lately, those of you that struggle with chronic illness or have been in and out of the hospital any number of times can know that the hospital and any kind of medical office, whether it's a doctor's appointment or procedure or a test, my anxiety level just continues to rise. It seems like the more that I've had happen, that it just every time I go into a hospital, it just triggers so much. So needless to say, anxiety is everywhere. So what can we do? I want to throw out a couple of suggestions, and as always, I am not a doctor or any kind of licensed counselor or anything. So definitely you need to talk to your doctor first. But these are just some recommendations that I found have worked in my life. And one of those being Headspace. It's an app on your phone that you can get for free. And there are some of the different options that you have to pay for, but not all of them. There's quite a few different things that are free. So that's definitely an option. And I found that to be especially helpful when I'm very just worked up and like kind of like a lot of times when I'm like pacing, whether it's in my apartment or at the doctor's or things, that just helps calm me down. That seemed to help for sure. Also, exercise. That's another way that I have found. Thankfully, now that I'm walking, I'm able to go out and to get that extra energy out. And just sometimes just that walking and being outside in fresh air can help my brain to process a little bit better. Also, music. I love music and discovering new artists as well as lots of my favorites. So music is definitely one of the things that helps me when I have anxiety, as well as listening to different podcasts too. That sometimes I just need something to occupy my brain that's not in my life and in my head. So that can kind of give us something to think about. It can be as deep or as surface level, I guess, as you like to say, as you want. But that's just an idea to start checking out some different podcasts. Also coloring, like an adult coloring book, or if you're younger, just regular coloring, or even just like scribbling on a piece of paper. That can help. It's kind of weird, but it helps. So just roll with it. Also creativity for me too, whether it's making videos or writing or painting or just getting that extra out has really seemed to help. Also, one of my new favorite things is writing out scripture. And obviously the scripture is the most crucial point in trying to deal and battle anxiety. Without the truth of God and allowing that to really permeate our thought life and start by filling our thoughts with those pure and lovely and true things, that's the starting ground. But for me, it seems really cathartic. I just started noticing, I pick a book of the Bible, and it doesn't have to have any certain significance. It can, and it's amazing sometimes how I've just picked the book and started writing, and then God really speaks to me through that. But just copying out scripture, that has really seemed to be relaxing for me, especially at night. I have a lot of trouble at night sleeping, or in the morning, I wake up with a lot of anxiety about the day or what's coming ahead or what all the uncertain things or what could happen. That's often a good go-to, especially first thing in the morning. Obviously, prayer, too, is huge. It doesn't have to be a certain elaborate prayer. You don't have to pray certain words for God to hear. God hears just where you're at, whether it's crying out to Him or yelling at Him. Obviously, there's been times in my life that I am frustrated, and so I just have to tell God what I'm thinking. And he knows our hearts anyway, but He wants us to be able to talk to Him freely and just really get real with Him. Also, counseling is another great option, especially if you continue to find yourself with anxiety. And anxiety can look a whole lot of different ways. So don't box yourself in, whether it's anxiety about school or work or driving or social anxiety when you get around people, or it might even be making phone calls or Zoom, or it can be very specific or it can be very general. But counseling really does help with all of it. And I was one for years that was like, no, I don't need counseling. I'm fine. Like, I don't need to go there. I don't want to go there. But I have recently discovered, just in the past couple of years, even the past 6 months, just the power in counseling and having somebody that consistently you can talk to, you can ask questions, that is objective and isn't necessarily in your world. Obviously, talking to other people is really big too, and people like your friends or family or your support system is crucial. But the counselor can just provide an outside perspective that you might not get otherwise. So I know my counselors like to challenge me, which is good. And so they like to be able to give me homework and things like that. But it's amazing how those weekly sessions that sometimes they don't seem like we're making progress, but when we look back, it's like, oh, wow, like we just overcome that. And it really has made a huge difference. And again, I was not one that was very fond on counseling. I really did fight it for a really long time. I remember the first time that I really started going to counseling when I was teaching, and I puked my guts out the whole way home. And I would freak out when I got in there. But now it's amazing how, obviously it's nice that I can just log on for telemed visits, but it's just amazing how much that you can learn and grow from counseling. So definitely recommend that. And also medications, whether that's natural supplements or having to go to a doctor for medicines, it's not something that you should be ashamed of. Again, in our society, I think that there's just so much that is it's a stigma with mental health, but is crucial that you are seeking medical attention as well as your support network, which can include family and friends when you face anxiety, because the more that you keep it inside of you, the worse it gets. Again, I had to learn that from experience. I tried to stuff everything down, but it eventually erupted. So it's really, really important that you're dealing with things as they come. So I hope that this video helps you as you are dealing with your anxiety. And if you have any questions or would like to connect with me, I have all of the info in the comments section.